welcome to Connected Conversations for Creatives. I'm your host, Jennifer Carr, and I am ecstatic to introduce to you Alison Baggett. I met Alison almost 5 years ago, if you can believe. I mean, it's been 5 years. We had just moved to the area. Our kiddo had lost all connections with her homeschool group. She needed a creative outlet, and just all of a sudden we discovered that our town had this little art studio. And so they offered homeschool classes and they offered summer camps, and she plugged in, and I will just tell you, like, she thrived. Like, she loved it. And like those breaks when there was no art class, she was like, we don't have art class today. Like, there was a whole different demeanor about her, like, just changed everything. And so she lived for her art classes. And then, so that was 5 years ago. And then maybe like 2 weeks ago, we were at lunch talking about next year she starts high school, and like that just kind of puts a knife in my heart, because I'm thinking, you know, that's 4 more years, and then she has to make some big choices. And so we were talking about, you know, as much as an eighth grader can talk about these things, I was like, so where do you see yourself after high school? Like, is this something, you know, college, is that a thing you want to do? Do you want to look at, you know, trades? You know, because I mean, art is on the table. Like, whatever she does, it's going to be art related. She has said that. And so she was like, I think I want to go to college and like study some digital art. And I'm just gonna say, like, Alice, that's on you. Like, thank you for being part of that investment. You know, that doesn't have really much to do with what we're talking about today, except that we're going to talk about your skills. But like, you made these investments in these kids, and some of them are going to take these investments and run with them. So people just need to understand how awesome you are, and how awesome I think you are, because that also validates like everything we're going to talk about. Like, you know what you're talking about, and I'm not going to just offer up somebody and say you should listen to her. No, like, you should listen to her, because she clearly has a gift, and that she's going to be talking about using her gifts today.
Oh, that makes my heart so happy. Oh, I love Ace. She's
I
awesome.
mean, I'm telling you, like, she adores you. And like, when art came
Oh,
to an end, she was just like, my life is incomplete. Like, what do I do next?
tell her I'm so sorry.
Hey, it's fine. I was like, can we pay her under the table for like private art lessons? Like, what can we do here? Let's make this work. But I know that like over the years, kind of your goals have shifted and changed, and like your path looks a little
Yeah.
different now. And so like, I'm just really excited to see where you've landed and where you're going.
Awesome. Yes. So I'm a firm believer in that the Lord puts us in seasons of life for that season and for a reason. Whether it's to teach us something or to help us grow, or just because he's working other things that we don't know about, that we have no idea about. So yeah, my goals have definitely shifted in life. We actually started the art studio as an adoption fundraiser. It started in 2000, gosh, I guess it was probably 2013. And I just wanted to be hands-on with fundraising and that sort of thing as far as adoption went. And we didn't really know what direction we were going to go as far as adoption. And so we wanted to adopt, domestically. But we knew that even that was expensive, just with legal fees and all the ins and outs of adoption. And then so that started as Projects with a Purpose. And so in that season, we had 3 goals. And my first goal was to share the gospel with whatever I do, and to use the gifts that God had given me so that I could glorify him. The second one was to fund our adoption. And then the third one was to be a blessing to those in our community. And when we saw a need, to be able to fill it when we felt like we could. And so the art studio came from that. And once our adoption was final, I was enjoying what I was doing. And I looked at my husband and I said, what next? Like, what do we do? Like, where do we go from here? Because I don't want to stop doing this. And so, long story short, we moved into a building in Calera, Alabama. And a couple of years later, kind of upgraded. Calera was not the vibrant city that it is now in the downtown area. And so I was kind of down there by myself. It was me in the dance studio, and that was it. And so I was able to move closer to our house, and my kids were able to walk from our house to my studio. So it was a major upgrade in that sense as well. And the things that I learned while I was running that business are what I'm using now to do, social media management, just really kind of, there's a work group that I'm in, and it's really, we're all kind of unicorns because we are able to pick and choose, but we're able to do more than just one thing. And so I'm using the gifts that I learned and gained, and the skills that I learned and gained from the studio to be able to do that for other small business owners now. So I'm still getting to be creative, still getting to do some fun stuff, just in a different capacity. So it's really cool.
And I love that. Like you can take what you've done and all, and that's what I've done just over the years. You take what you've learned and you just kind of flex and roll with it. And it is true. Like there are so many seasons, and I've had many careers in my life, if you will. And like I started, like writing was something that just kind of happened. It just happened. But I've loved teaching, and I've always been a teacher. I love planning. So I went into some event planning, and that was probably my favorite of all the things. And I mean, the stories that came from that, and the reason that I'm no longer an event planner, like there are just so many reasons that we don't even have time to get into them. But like I loved it. I thrived on it because I felt like I was doing something with what I had been given. And so all of that just kind of culminated over the years to lead me here to where we can have these conversations, and that I can say, hey, I can help other people who are discovering, like I did the hard way, what it takes to do what we do. So as an independent author, like I'm self-published, which means that I am in charge of everything, including the marketing. Now, had somebody told me this, like I didn't understand the world of publishing. Like I woke up one day and thought, I'm going to write a book because I want to know how the dream that I had ended. Like that's just what happened. And nobody really prepared me for like what comes with it, because I thought I was just going to write a book and it was going to get published and put on a shelf somewhere. Like somebody was going to look at it and be like, I love your book. Well, that's not how the business works, apparently. And right. I have learned this. Yeah, like no, that's no, there's a lot of rejection that comes with the whole process, and you have to grow some thick skin, but you also have to learn these skills like digital marketing and social media management. Now, that's not the same as putting a post on Facebook and saying, I'm having a great day. Want to read a book? Here's my book. Like, that's not how it works. And so I need people like you, and people like me need people like you. And so like, I'm very excited that we get to talk about this because marketing has changed over the years. Like when I was a wedding and event planner, we had the yellow pages, and I got calls, and I looked, the yellow pages still exist. Like they still have them. And they have an online version of them. And for those of you who don't know what yellow pages are, it was like this phone book. Like it was this book, directory of businesses listed by category. So if you needed an event planner, you'd look up event planners, and there I would be. And so you paid for your advertising. And I mean, I got calls probably for 7 years after I closed that business because my name was in the yellow pages. And that was like the best form of marketing. You really had magazines, like the bridal magazines and stuff like that, but it has changed a lot.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to handle that.
The arena is a lot bigger. When we had the yellow pages and that sort of thing, you had more of a local audience. Whereas now with the internet, you've got a global audience if you want it, and it's up to you how you market and where you market your skill or your service or your product. And so, the whole game has changed over the last several years, and really even over the last few years with COVID and all of that, just how businesses have had to pivot and change. And I'm so tired of the word pivot, but we all had to do it in some form. We live it. Yeah, exactly. But it's changed completely, even just recently, it feels like. So there's definitely a shift in how we market our businesses.
Exactly. And like you have to have 14 different social media accounts, right? So you're talking, I'm on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And I know there's like 3,000 others that I could be on, but like to keep up with 2 of them means that 2 of them get neglected, because you have to have different kind of content for all of those platforms. And then you have to have a page for this and a page for that. And, do I want a business account or a personal account? know. Like, I don't know. And it's just so different. And I know that I probably sound like a boomer, and I'm just like, I don't know how to use technology, but it changes so fast. And I pride myself on knowing how to use technology, but like, it just changes so fast. And I think, when I want to focus on my creative outlet and write, I can't be thinking about my other necessary like marketing. I'm just going, I have a whole calendar on my wall of, okay, on this day, you're going to post this. And on this day, you're going to post that. And I'm like, I can't keep up. There are not enough hours in the
Yeah.
day.
Yeah. No, there's really not. And that's that's one of the things that I really focus on with my clients and with my own business as well, is having a plan, but having not just a plan, like here's what I'm going to post each day, but having like a monthly focus. Okay, so I'm going to really focus in on this one thing this month. And I've loved your TikToks where you've like given descriptions of how to write about different characters. And, we've had that conversation of, trauma based and all of that and the
Yes.
psychology behind it and all of that. I love that. I watch them every time they come up.
Thanks.
But it's having that focus. So like taking a series like that and focusing on that for a month or a month or two, even, and then you've got what you need to post for the whole month, and you can go in and kind of focus in on, okay, this month I'm focusing on this, so this is what I want to post about each day. And it doesn't always have to be, directed to that, but you want that to be the main, like the meat of what you're focusing on that month. And so you can throw in, like I'm doing a fun fact Friday on mine and finding things that I can incorporate marketing into if I want to. Like today's post that's coming out is about Heinz 57 and how the 57 is just a number that he liked, and it's not that there's actually that many varieties of ketchup, but it's just he thought it needed a number and that was the number he liked. So it my thing today is, marketing doesn't always have to be this grand scheme of, something that you're coming up with. It can be something simple and that takes off, So, yeah. So having a plan is like one of the biggest things, and just having that monthly focus or, quarterly focus, even if you want to kind of narrow down what you're posting about and what you're going to try and create content around.
And it's the flip side of it. So I'm creative in my own way, right? Like writing words, I'm creative that way. I can eke out some stuff on Canva if I have to. But that is not something that I'm not gifted. That takes me an entire day. Like when I designed my own book cover because it's expensive to have somebody else do it. And I was
Yeah.
like, it took me an entire day to figure out the background of it, and then I had to figure out the elements that I added to it. And so like it was a week-long process. Well, that took a week away from me trying to write and edit and that kind of thing. And so I
Yeah.
need somebody on my team that says, hey, let me show you some workarounds, and to have that creativity. Because if it took me that long to come up with a book cover, which I mean, I guess that's kind of a big deal. I want it to be a nice book cover, but I'm not graphically inclined. So posting on social media, if it's not just my face doing the talking, like that's why I love TikTok. Cause I'm like, I can talk.
Yeah.
You put me in front of the camera, I'm just going to talk or be goofy or whatever. Like I got that coverage, or teach. Like I love teaching. And so that's my Thursdays. I do my author talk where I'm like psychology and writing, but it's once a week. It's not every day, but Facebook and Instagram, you have to have photos and graphics and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not my strong suit. And so
Yeah.
I need direction. I was like, okay, I'll give you the content, but now we got to work together on the rest of it.
Yeah. And that's one of the things that's really cool about what I'm doing right now is, and I say right now, because this may not be what I do forever,
Yeah.
but, and this is evolving as I'm doing it, but being able to help somebody in the areas where they need help so that you're in your zone of genius because you like to write, you like to speak. That's where you need to be shining the most. And
Mm-hmm.
it's one of those things where when you're having to do the things that you don't enjoy doing or that you don't feel like you're as skilled in, you're taking away time from that, and it's going to get neglected because it's got to be done.
Mm-hmm.
You've got to have that part. I mean, Instagram, you can't just upload, content with your caption. You've got to have a graphic of some sort, whether that be video or, just a still image or a graphic of some sort. But So being able to help somebody take that and not necessarily take all of it off their plate, because as a creative, I like having some of the control, so I don't want to just hand it off to somebody. But I've also found like templates on, Etsy and Pinterest and that sort of thing that I have found don't always fit the content that I need. And I'm
Exactly.
having to go back and rewrite or redo or change things. And, so it's kind of a catch-22, because I'm like, well, yeah, I've got all this made already, but I can't really use it for what I need it for. So I'm really spending as much time as I would if I was creating from scratch. And so that's a frustrating part of the whole like DIY marketing kits that you get is, you kind of have to just redo them to make them work for you. And so that's been kind of a stickler on my end is
Yeah.
I want
Yes.
it to be where I can use it.
Absolutely. Well, and there was a girl, and I'm all about supporting the small business because that's all I've done for like the last 15 years. Like I've only
Yeah.
owned my own business. And so I know the struggles that come with it. So I'm always willing to give, if you can show me, repeatedly that what you have to offer is something that, and that we could work together, because I've worked with some people that, I'm like, well, we won't do that again. But if you can
Those are
show
always
me,
fun.
I mean, it's like you learn grace real quick.
Yeah.
It's like, grace and mercy, thank you, Jesus. But I've had people, they want to offer me something, and so I took a girl up on it. I was like, it's $27 and it's fine. I know that that's not a lot of money, but it's $27 that could have done something else. But I
Yeah.
get it. You're building your business. Sure, let's do this. And I will just say that I used zero.
Mm-hmm.
I paid $27 and got zero back.
Yeah.
There was nothing. There wasn't even like, I couldn't even find it was something that like I could have Googled this, because but I mean, good for her. She's a salesperson. She sold it to me. I bought
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I'm like, I won't recommend her to anybody either.
True.
And I have plenty of people that I could recommend to, and her name will not make the list,
Yeah.
you know.
And that's unfortunate.
It really
That's very
is. And I guess my question is then, so what are you doing these days? Like what is your grab? What is your offer? Like what can small business owners come to you and say, "Hey, I need something." What are you offering?
So right now I'm offering social media management, which that is basically like 3 parts in one. So I can help with the planning. I can help with the content creation, the graphics, all of that. I can help schedule it all out, get that part off your plate as well. And then I'm doing other stuff like web design and that kind of thing as well. But the one thing that it's kind of my baby right now that I'm working on is what we were just talking about, is kind of a hybrid of me being your social media manager versus DIY. And so I'm trying to kind of mesh those two together where you have some of the components put together for you, but we come together and work on a plan for you so that your content is what you need it to be. And it's not just here, buy this template and change the brand colors and change the wording if you need to or whatever, but those graphics are going to be ready for you to go ahead and put your copy with it and put your brand on it and that sort of thing. And that way you've got it so that you're not completely overwhelmed with all of the things. And so that's in the works. I'm not there yet. I'm really, really close. I'm trying to get it so that it's a benefit to me and to my clients. Because I'm only one person and we
Yeah.
have 4 kids. And so I feel like I'm busier now that we're all in school and not homeschooling. So trying to kind of, budget my time and all of that sort of stuff. But,
Mm-hmm.
I know as a small business owner, it was a sacrifice when I was paying somebody to help me with my content creation and all of the scheduling and all of that kind of stuff. But it was worth it to me because then I was able to go and create classes and work on the things that I needed to work on. And I wasn't having to work on, social media at the time. But it's a sacrifice, especially when you've got somebody doing it all. And so, but I loved the benefit of of being able to do that as well. So that's what I'm hoping to do, is to be able to kind of create a hybrid where it's as much DIY as you need it to be, but you have that support from me, who's been there and done that and has the time to help you with coming up with your plan, or helping you kind of think about, okay, well, let's focus on this for this month. And so I'm hoping that that will be a huge help for small business owners who are not ready to take that step yet for a full-time, not employee, but contract work, but also need just some little extra support and that sort of thing in their business.
I love that, because, and that is literally, I had this conversation with another author slash, he's like a literary coach. We had this conversation that, one day when we hit it big, we're going to pay somebody to do all this stuff for us, because it does take away from, I don't want to say that, like, it takes away from the important things for me, because it takes a ton of brain power to sit there and come up with, even 2,000 words for a book. Like I was 2 weeks, I was on a 2-week crunch where I had to come up with 20,000 words. Well, that doesn't sound like a lot, because, you talk and you 20,000 words, but you're trying to put them in a structure. You're trying to put them in a story. You want, you have to show, not tell. There are so many things. And so, like, it was 2 weeks and I had 20,000 words to come up with. You want to talk about dead, but like, I forgot we had a cat. I was so tired by the end of the second week. I was like, keep in mind, it's a porch cat. It lives under our porch because it's like an outdoor barn cat type thing. But like, I have fed this cat every morning and every night for months and months and months. And I was like, oh, we have a cat? And Rob was like, yeah, right. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see. Your brain just kind of goes, I know I'm terrible, but like your brain just kind of goes to mush because you focus so hard on this. You want to talk, if I had not had a plan, like, now I realize that when I say I have a plan, it's like I have all these silly drafts on TikTok. So I'll post a TikTok occasionally to Facebook if the content will transfer nicely sometimes. And that's the other thing. What you use on TikTok doesn't always work on Facebook, doesn't always work on Instagram. And so like you're in like 4 different universes kind of thing when you add Twitter in there. It's like, you got to find your audience. But I just had to go in and click post on my TikToks and maybe onto Facebook. And so it was just kind of like, I had those in the queue, which worked out nicely. But at the same time, oh my stars, like I fell so far behind on social media. I was like, nobody knows I exist anymore. And that's the other hard part, is that you have to like constantly be there, or people are like, who are you again? Like, oh, there's a Jennifer. Absolutely. Kind of like my poor cat. It's like, there's no Jennifer. It just is what it is. I did remember, and I did feed the cat. Don't worry, the cat is fine. But
I was gonna say, the cat's outside. The cat's good.
I was like, we have a cat. That's what it is. But yeah, I mean, that's the other thing. Like, it all moves so fast, and so to be able to spend 4 hours coming up with 1,000 words or 2,000 words versus, having to rack your brain for what's going to get somebody's attention. No, I need to be able to hand that over and be like, could you please, like, you want my words? I'll give you some words. But at the same time, like, I need somebody else to do the rest of it,
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. No, that is completely understandable. And that's what I love about what I'm doing, is I get to use my creativity still and, come up with kind of outside the box thoughts for somebody like you who's wanting to get their word out there and get their product out there. And I get to be a part of that and help them grow their business. And that's really cool to get to be a part of that.
Yes, I love that. And that's, that's the other thing. Like, I love, and I've got several people that I'm going to talk to. Like, you're my second podcast guest, if you will, and I've got several others in the queue behind that. I'm excited to be able to say, like, these people, like, they have something to offer. And that's my thing. I want to push those small businesses out there, because it's hard. It's hard to have your own business. And I don't think people understand a lot of times is because, your paycheck doesn't look the same week to week, if at all. I think in February, I made $1.79 on royalties from Amazon. $1.79. Oh, wow. That was the whole month of February. You just don't know, And so it's if we're just being completely transparent, it's just hard. It's hard. And so I want to be able to bolster other people's small businesses, especially because I believe in what you have to offer. I've seen your work. I know your work. And like, we adore you here. So, that is.
Oh, thank you. love you guys too.
Thanks. Anyway, so all right, so you've got this out of the box marketing strategy. What is something that you would encourage, if there was one thing you could encourage independent author, small business owner, whatever, like where would you encourage them to start if they could not come to you and say, I could pay you? How would you encourage them to get started on their social media presence, their marketing, and that kind of thing?
I would say start small. Obviously, you don't have to be on every platform. And the biggest thing, and this is something that I've been taught all throughout owning my own business with the studio and, before that even, is start where you are, hang out where you are. If you're on Facebook, start on Facebook. If you're on Instagram, start on Instagram. It's going to be more natural if you're used to how things work on that platform. So I would definitely say start where you are, start where you're going to be the most. And then as you get more comfortable with that, and really, like we always say, consistency is key in this marketing world.
Mm-hmm.
Consistency doesn't mean you have to have 5 posts a day. Like that means if you're going to post once a week, post once a week. But, once you start posting, the algorithm picks up on when you post and who needs to see your stuff. And so the more consistent you can be, and obviously the more you can post, the better, because, only a certain percentage of your audience sees what you're doing. So the more you post, the more opportunities they have to see your stuff. But if you're only able to do once a week, do once a week, start there and then grow that as you can. So that would be my word of encouragement.
I like it. And to also like keep it you, right? Like I tried so
Yeah.
hard for so long in other ways to like, I wanted to do what the big names were doing. I wanted to do what the popular kids were doing. I wanted to be the cool kid. And it's like, people know when it's not you, right? Like they
Yeah,
don't see,
absolutely.
and that is something that I am huge on. Like authenticity is key for me. Like when you have a conversation with somebody or when you are offering somebody something. I was listening to one of my playlists on YouTube this morning, and I hate ads. I hate them. I know that ads are money makers for people. I know that, but they are
Mhm.
so manipulative. And I'm like, is that really you? Like, is that really who you want to portray to somebody? And so don't be
Yeah.
somebody you're not, because people are going to pick up on it. They know
Oh,
when you're
absolutely.
trying to,
Yeah.
yeah, they know when you're trying to like sell them something and it's
Yep.
not coming from a place of, I've got your best interest at heart.
Yeah. Well, and too, like the whole advertising thing, and I hate having to sell stuff. My dad has been a salesman ever since I was little. My brother's in sales. It is not me. Like I never had
Me
any
neither.
desire to be in the field that they are in. But, as a business owner, that's what you are. You are in
Mm-hmm.
sales. But when you come at it from a standpoint of, hey, I have this really awesome thing and I feel like it can help you solve XYZ problems, then you don't feel like you're having to sell. You don't feel like you're having to, you know, you don't feel like a used car salesman.
Yes, you're sharing
I
from
don't
the
like
heart.
that. Yes, absolutely.
Mhm.
And that's what I love about what I'm doing is I'm getting to help other people who are in the same boat that I was in. And I'm not like I don't even know. It's weird because I don't feel like I'm having to push for things to
Yes.
happen. And I love that because I can go do my work for the day and I can try and find new clients, but the clients are coming. Like they're coming and I'm not having to hunt them down. And I love
Yes.
that because I know that it's people that really do need my help. And it's people that the Lord's bringing in that, I'm forming friendships and relationships and not just clients, if that makes
Yes.
sense.
It does make sense, which is like the entire purpose of this whole platform. And it's funny, like I had a podcast. I did a health and wellness podcast a couple years ago, but then health and wellness became a very taboo subject. And so that podcast,
Yeah.
I immediately realized that it was becoming a source of contention. And so I was like, I'm never doing that again. No, not doing
Yeah.
podcasts ever again. But then I was like, this is something that I think I knew that I was lacking. Like when I jumped into this world of independent authoring, I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. And I still there, that's why I'm looking for people who do know what they're doing, because I don't
Yeah.
have all the answers. And I'm like, but that is my point. Like, I want to connect people so we can make these connections that are authentic, have these conversations so that we can say, hey, let's collaborate on something, and that's not a free collaboration. I'm not saying, hey, I'm just going to offer you
Yeah.
up my services, but it's saying I can plug you in with somebody who can meet a need that you have. And there is so much freedom in one, doing what you love. You're right. Like
Yeah.
you said it, like you were implying right there that you love that you can just go and do what you're passionate about, which is what I want to see happen for me, but also for everybody around me who is struggling to find their thing. Like, find what you love, and then let's collaborate with somebody else to take some of that weight
Yep.
off for the things you don't.
Oh, absolutely. Yes. I love it. And, and with technology these days, it's so easy to do that. And you
Yes.
don't have to, we were talking about earlier being a local, advertiser and having a local audience. You don't have to do that these days. And it makes it so much easier. You know, social media can have its downside, but I love it for things like this because you do get to connect with other people who, you can work together on things. And oh, that sun is bright coming in there.
You're glowing. I love
Thank you.
it.
Let me close that a little bit. But we had some cloud coverage that went away. But but yeah, it's so much fun to be able to connect with people and be able to collaborate on things, and I'm really excited about that.
I am too. Like, I'm going to come knock your door down. I was like, I had, so it's really funny because I had seen on Facebook months ago that you had kind of shifted gears. And I was like, hey, that is a need, like, because I've needed it before. And I think
Mm-hmm.
it might have been, it was around the time that I had decided to write a book, or maybe about, was it a year ago that you started? Hadn't been a
Yeah,
whole year.
actually a
Was
year
it a
ago this
year?
weekend. Yes.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
then that's what it was, because it was before my book had come out, but it was kind of after I had already like started working with my editor and stuff like that, and I was like, I need those services, but at the same time, there were so many things going on that I was like, do I
Yeah.
really need those services? I wasn't sure, and so then when the whole idea of doing this podcast came about, I was like, you were the first person on my list of people that I thought, like, you were the first person I
Aw.
reached out to and was like, I want you to do this for me and with me because
I'm so glad.
I'm telling you, like, because I know that what you have to offer is going to be a big need filler in the community of creatives, because we're not all gifted that way, and that's okay. We're not supposed to all be gifted the same way.
Yeah,
But yeah, I was
exactly.
just like, I saw it and I was like, this is what needs to happen. And so a year later, here we are. I'm going, finally, hear this. It'd be great.
Well, and that's being a creative, like I always had the mentality of, oh, I can do that. I'm creative. I can do that. I can figure
Hmm.
it out. But I'm learning it's easier to find the people that are good at what they do and fill those holes. And so I'm not having to constantly do those things. And so, yeah, as a creative, it's really hard to let go of that control and to let go of, you know, the I guess the desire to want to do it all. And so and that's in my own business, like trying to figure out what I really enjoy doing has been hard. Over the last year, I've learned a lot, and I'm still learning stuff, and I'm kind of learning what I enjoy and what I don't want to do at all. So, it's so hard sometimes because you're like, yeah, but I can do that, but do I really need to be doing that? And so it's a hard lesson to learn, that's for sure, as a creative.
It is, because I think we like to put our mark on things. I mean, honestly, that's what creativity is putting your mark on
Yeah,
something. And
yeah,
and I know that that is true for me. And it's not even like an attention grabber. I don't need your attention. I just want to
yeah,
leave my mark. And
yep,
so yes, I totally get it. You got to let go. And I really like holding things close.
yes,
Mhm, exactly. Oh
same,
my
same.
gosh. Well, I am so thankful that you were available to hang out with me today. Like, it's so nice to catch up, because I know, like, you live up the street. You're not that far from me. Like, I can
Yeah,
come see you. But life, right? Like,
yes, absolutely. Because we're
between
never
life and
home.
work.
Like I'm home during the
Yes.
day while I'm working, but even that, like trying to get kids back and forth where they've got to go, and our afternoons and evenings, we're never home, I feel
Oh
like.
yeah. No, like if I don't see you online, I'm just like, I hope Alison is well. Like, here we are. And I know that what you have coming down the pipeline is going to be a massive success, because I mean, you're doing it from a place of just genuineness and authenticity. And I think that, and that's why people are flocking to you, because I think that they see that you are invested in them, just like you invested in my kid, for all those years. Like, I think that your genuine need and desire to help people is going to you're going to be a huge success. And I'm
Oh,
excited to see it happen, especially here in our little community. Like, I think it's great. And I hope that people will be like, hey, I saw you on this podcast, and like, I would
yes,
also
I
like for that
know.
to happen.
I'm so excited to see what happens with yours
Mm.
too, because like I didn't know that you were interested in writing or any of that. And so I'm
Neither.
excited to see where this goes.
I didn't either. And I said, Rob, I think I'm going to write a book. And he was like, okay.
Do
And
it.
that's what I it's
I
just like,
love it. I
and now
love it.
book two will come out hopefully this fall, and book three is halfway done. So anyway, like, I didn't
There
know it was
you
in
go.
me, but here we are.
That's awesome. I probably do need to talk to you later on. I've always had a dream of writing a children's book, and I don't have a storyline. I don't have like nothing. I just have always had that dream of wanting to write and illustrate a children's book. So when that
Listen,
time comes,
yes, let's talk
now
about
I
it.
know that,
Yes. And
but when it
I will
comes,
put you in touch with whomever you need to be put in touch with, because
good deal. Yay.
I love that. And if only you knew how to draw and illustrate something
I
like that.
know.
I
I
mean,
know.
no, it'd be the best kids book ever. I love that. Oh my gosh. Well, I'm definitely going to be reaching out to you very soon. And we're going to put everything that we talked about, once all of your links are ready, and your whatever's available is ready. We're going to stick it in
Okay.
the show notes so that everybody
Okay.
can find you, your website and all that stuff. So
Awesome.
you don't worry about that.
Okay.
And I can't wait to hear, like, seriously, how many people are just like, I found you and I would like to talk to you about
Yay.
this. It's going to be so awesome.
Yay.
Oh my
Well, good
gosh.
deal.
Okay. Well, I hope that all of you who are listening, I hope that everything that you are working on, like, comes to fruition and is in the absolute perfect time. In the meantime, go be creative, be authentic, and just look for the opportunity to make a new authentic connection.